24. Gateway. Over the past few decades, architecture as an idea and practice has increasingly limited its definition of itself. In the foreseeable future, the instrumentality of architecture in effecting actual change, that is, change that challenges the dominance of commercial institutions, their aims and values, will diminish. While the present day seems to be a time of unparalleled innovation and freedom of choice, the reality is that architectural styles and forms are often the attractive packaging and repackaging of the same proven marketable concepts. The speed with which radical designs by celebrity architects achieve acceptance and popularity demonstrates that formal innovation has itself become an important commodity. However, beneath the cloak of radicalism, the conventions of existing building typologies and programs, with all their comforting familiarity, still rule and sell. What is needed desperately today are approaches to architecture that can free its potential to transform our ways of thinking and acting. Seemingly innovative, architecture has actually become trapped in its own convention and commercialized environment, so efforts should be made to activate its power to change us. Exercise 1. Although tone color has a scientific explanation, its function in music is aesthetic. Music is an art of sound, and the quality of that sound has much to do with our response to it. Indeed, the concept of tonal beauty varies considerably in different periods, styles, and cultures. On the other hand, within a particular context, ideals of beauty may be quite firmly established, and performers often pay extraordinary prices for instruments that can produce the ideal sound. But no instrument automatically produces a beautiful tone, so the finest violin will produce a rasping, scraping sound in the hands of a beginner. Even at the most advanced stages of accomplishment, achieving what is considered to be a beautiful tone is a criterion of a good performance. Exercise 2. Although they were internally organized by machines, cameras, early photographs resembled drawings and paintings because they depicted the world according to linear perspective. The camera obscura was popular with artists because it automatically modified a scene by compressing form and emphasizing tonal mass according to Western pictorial standards. The camera was not designed as a radical device to unleash a new way of seeing, but evolved to produce a predefined look that took into consideration formulas and procedures such as composition, angle and point of view, quality of light, and selection of subject matter. What was being represented remained unchanged. This does not diminish the camera's importance in defining an image. As with most inventions, unforeseen side effects create unintentional changes. As image makers became more sophisticated, they routinely used specific cameras and lenses to shape an image, and knowledgeable viewers can often trace the connections between the camera lens and the resulting picture. Exercise 3. The effectiveness of green architecture depended upon the balance of on-site energy sources with building energy conservation. The more conservative the building envelope, insulation, and the tightness of construction, the easier it was to match essential energy loads to the availability of on-site resources. The design motto was conservation first. In colder climates, construction was focused on solar energy gain, heat retention using higher insulation values, and double glazing, and even movable insulation. In warmer climates, attention was given to the solar control of the envelope, especially roofs and western facades, as well as to natural ventilation and daylighting. Conservation-conscious design was in sharp contrast to previous modernist tendencies of spatial generosity, complexity of form, expansive glazing areas, and reliance on abundant fossil fuels and mechanical systems for heating and cooling. Exercise 4. Music tourism sites and attractions generally attract two kinds of visitors: those particularly drawn for whatever reason to the memory or music of a particular performer, composer, or genre, most obvious for festivals, and those who are there because the place fits into an itinerary devised for other reasons or because the visit is likely to be enjoyable. Thus, at Abbey Road, a place identified in many general guidebooks, most visitors were there because they had some appreciation of the Beatles' music. But others were there simply because it was part of an agenda that included a range of obvious London landmarks. Particular links to music sites are, however, much more idiosyncratic and dependent on personal musical taste. Wider cultural and national links may also be evident. New Orleans and the Cajun region are popular with French tourists. For French tourists, travel to New Orleans, in part, allows an experience of Francophone identities in the New World, just as it is more likely to be Americans who visit Jim Morrison's grave in Paris.